This is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. You know the story, I know the story. The big thing is, can you tell the story about yourself and your family? This is how Jesus came into my life. That's what really counts. Of course, it's great that he came, but he came. What would we say? You know, Joseph had it all figured out. He loved this woman and he would marry her. And then she said she was going to have a baby. He knew it wasn't his. He's right. He had all the facts that he needed. And he decided, I can't go on with this. But he didn't. He didn't have the whole picture. And at Christmas, that's probably true for a lot of us. We don't have the whole picture. We can't always see what God is doing, even though we're righteous people. I'd like to show you just 3 little Christmas scenes that were in the paper last week about that crib. The first one is a Catholic church, beautiful crib, Christ child, Joseph, Mary, and shepherds. And the child is in a cage. That'll get your attention. It's in a cage, maybe because children are separated from their parents in the border. Maybe because there are so many aren't born. Maybe because there's abuse in the home. It's not as peaceful as we'd like it. And then there's a scene, we have another crib in another Christian church. And Christ child, Mary and Joseph, the shepherds. But the kings are outside in the wall. They're foreigners, and they can't come in. And we know the message. But maybe that's true in our lives about some of our friends who have hurt us or whatever it is. There may be walls. And then there's another scene. This time it's just Mary and Joseph and the child. There are no shepherds. There's water all the way around, and there are animals that are dead in the water. It's a pretty obvious message about our earth and climate change. Don't you wish it were more peaceful to keep that stuff out of there? But we have Christmas without realizing there's some conflict in our hearts? Joseph couldn't. I suspect we have to go the same journey. About 20 years ago, the mayor and the city council wanted to put up the crib at Christmas before City Hall. It seemed so simple and such a right thing to do. But you know, it got very congested and contagious, and civil liberties came in. And while all that was happening, Father Guy Blair decided to open St. John's Church for the homeless. And a lot of the leaders weren't in favor of that. They didn't want those, they wanted to help those people, but not downtown. Well, St. John's became the homeless shelter, and that's a much better crib than the one they would have put on City Hall. In this week, the Brown County officers, the elected officials, voted 26-0 to let the federal government know that we would continue our policy of welcoming refugees. It really would be nice if Christmas could be just very peaceful and you could look at the crib. But it's always, as Joseph said, you got to reach out. God wants all people. So he's counting on you and me to tell the Christmas story.